Presenting the 26th EY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Shapers of India's Future.
Hello and welcome to the second webisode of Shapers of India's Future series, where we celebrate visionaries redefining industry and winners of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2024 India Awards. I'm Shireen Bhan. Our first guest today is a leader whose innovations have propelled India into the global space race. He played a pivotal role in transforming ISRO into a leading space agency with innovations in propulsion, lunar exploration and human space flight. During his tenure as the chairman of ISRO, he spearheaded landmark missions, including the Chandrayaan-3, reaffirming India's position as a space power. His journey is one of relentless ambition, scientific excellence and pioneering achievements. Here's the story of Dr. S. Somanath, a man who dared to dream beyond the stars.
Born in rural Kerala to a Hindi teacher with a passion for science, Dr. Somanath grew up surrounded by tools, books and a spirit of self-learning. Carpentry and star maps filled his childhood, laying the foundation for a mind that would one day launch India's space future.
I was born in a village called Arur in the district of Alleppey in Kerala. And my family was more of an agrarian or agriculture family. But there was a lot of thrust on education in the family. My father was a teacher. He was very good at mathematics. He has a lot of interest in science. He was an electronics enthusiast. He was a carpenter. He was a mason. He can do many things at home. He has so much of toolkit at home. He will work with that. And so is me. Then after looking at all of this, I also became very skilled in many things. I still remember my fascination to space started long back when I was still in my village, where my father used to bring me the star atlases and books written by great scientists. I still remember some of the books like the Einstein and the Universe, the Captives of the Sun. Those books which I read created an interest in me to study space, astronomy and things like that.
While still in college, Dr. Somanath was recruited by ISRO, plunging into the high-stakes world of the PSLV project. It was a decade of relentless work, designing, testing and learning from failures. Then came the moment of triumph, India's first successful PSLV launch, a milestone but only a beginning.
We were called by ISRO for a recruitment while we were still in our college. I remember that was in the 6th semester. Based on our previous marks, we were shortlisted. After joining ISRO, I came to the main center of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. I was interviewed again by some eminent scientists at that time. I still remember Dr. Ramanathan, who is the brother of Subramanian Chandrasekhar, the Nobel laureate. So he put me in an area called PSLV project. So I joined that team of designing and developing PSLV. Next 10 years, I had no other option but to be fully engrossed in the development program of PSLV until its first launch was made in 1993, which was not successful. And then in 1994, the second launch was done and which was successful.
The Chandrayaan program was ambitious from the start, but it was Chandrayaan-2's near success and heart-breaking failure that set the stage for Chandrayaan-3's triumph. Under Dr. Somanath's leadership, ISRO turned a national disappointment into a global success, powered by persistence and precision.
We started the Chandrayaan-1 program. It became successful as an ability to launch a satellite using the PSLV. Also, we brought the the knowledge that there is water on the moon. After the Chandrayaan-1, the idea of Chandrayaan-2 came. But by that time, we had to go and land on the moon. It was not enough that we orbit. And the first operational mission, the Chandrayaan-2 was flown. The mission was successful. We only had a problem in the last phase of the mission after capturing on the moon. But then the failure analysis, what went wrong with Chandrayaan-2 and how to correct was a major topic of discussion. During that period only, I became the Secretary of Department of Space and Chairman ISRO. So I had an opportunity to get into that type of work and then make amendments and modifications in the architecture. And Chandrayaan-3 became successful in 2020, August 23. So that was a great event.
For India's founding space visionaries, the goal was always national impact, not just scientific glory. Dr. Somanath carried that vision forward, ensuring satellites didn't just map the stars, but strengthened governance, disaster response, and connectivity across the country.
I must tell you that the founding fathers of the space programs, Sarabhai, Satish Dhawan, many others, especially Sarabhai, made a very clear narrative of how the space sector growth in India will be beneficial for the common people. We have our own remote sensing and Earth observation satellite, primarily to help you in resource mapping, cartography, disaster management, climate and weather, and many such activities. So, if you really look at the type of impact it has made, is really phenomenal.
ISRO's journey isn't just about rockets. It's a story of industrial transformation. With each mission, Indian companies like L&T and Godrej mastered global standards in aerospace manufacturing, propelling the nation's engineering might beyond Earth's atmosphere.
I can tell you almost 450 industries got benefited in working with us, including giants like L&T, Godrej, and they do work for us. I remember they say that because they work with us in various technologies, their ability to handle other contracts really scaled up. Because the knowledge of handling precision manufacturing, the quality control processes, the systematic way of addressing defects and achieving resolutions, they were the culture that transferred from ISRO to that industry, which helped them to handle much more complex problems.
Then came an unprecedented challenge. A global satellite operator needed 36 satellites launched. Could ISRO deliver? Dr. Somanath and his team re-engineered the cryogenic stage, rewriting the rulebook on efficiency. The result? A historic commercial breakthrough and proof of India's space supremacy.
One day, I got a call from Sri Mittal, the Bharati Airtel. He called me and told me that, can you do a launch for my OneWeb satellites? My satellites are stuck in Russia. They're not able to launch. Okay, I said, how many satellites? He said, 36 satellites. Oh, I have to launch 36 satellites in one launch using the GSLV Mark III, LVM3. We brainstormed on this, how to do this. This is the first time I had to use the cryogenic stage to be rotated, moved in different directions, and I have to eject satellite in different timings. And nobody in the world has ever done this. A cryogenic stage, we took the decision, we found a method to do it, we engineered the stage to put all those new items into it, and we did a lot of calculations, simulations in simulated environment, not the real ones, and gained confidence to do that, and we did it perfectly in the first time, and once again repeated also in one more mission, which he gave me a contract to do that.
Now a mentor and guide, Dr. Somanath continues to shape India's space future, supporting startups, reviewing complex projects, and nurturing the next generation of scientists. Because while rockets launch missions, it's people who launch revolutions.
I superannuated after serving as my term of my secretariatship for 3 years in January 14th. My role is limited to helping the ISRO to do reviews on specific technical issues wherever it appears, mentor my teammates wherever there is a need for such help which is required. I also work with industries and startups, etc. Primarily, I believe that it is important to develop the passion in each one of them, encourage my teammates to work. So I personally feel that I was able to develop a lot of people. Not more than the rocket, I will talk about people. They are important.
With a bold 25-year roadmap, unprecedented funding, and renewed national ambition, India's space journey is accelerating. Dr. Somanath's legacy isn't just in missions accomplished. It's in the future, mapped for a nation reaching for the stars.
In space sector, we made two different streams now in the last few years. One, help and encourage private entrepreneurs to come into space and then create an activity where the business activity will take place. Second is ISRO to focus more on advanced R&D rather than traditional research and development. a vision document has been brought out, how we will handle this type of transitioning in the next 25 years. Vision 2047 in space has already been announced by Prime Minister, and already budget for such an activity spanning almost 25 years have been set now, which is a historic thing that has happened. In the past, we were all getting money for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year programs. Today, we have a program set for next 25 years.
Dr. S. Somanath was honoured with the Special Jury Award at the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2024 Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to present the Special Jury Award. He is the 10th chairman of ISRO and the force behind some of its greatest achievements. With his astute leadership and perseverance, he led the successful launch and landing of Chandrayaan-3 on the moon. In recognition of his path-breaking contribution to our nation, the EOY jury has decided to confer the Special Jury Award on Dr. S. Somanathan.
That is right, the winner of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Special Jury Award, Dr. S. Somanath. Round of applause, please. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much for this great honor that you have bestowed upon me and on ISRO for this great accomplishment of landing on the moon. And I take this award on behalf of the team ISRO, who has toiled many years together to create this technology power in this country.
From space exploration to revolutionizing sustainable manufacturing, we now bring you the story of a leader who's championed green energy solutions. Pudumjee, Chairperson of Thermax, has spearheaded the company's transformation into a global powerhouse in energy and environmental solutions, driving innovation and sustainability. Here's her remarkable journey.
Born in Mumbai, raised on discipline, purpose and quiet ambition, Sameer Pudumjee's story wasn't written in boardrooms. It began on the Thermax shop floor, in steel boots and a hard hat. Earning her place among engineers, not as a legacy, but as a learner.
I was born in Bombay, and my mother is a social worker by training. My father, who was a professional, decided to join the company. And he was a friend of my uncle. My parents truly believed in two things. One is education and the other is hard work. I went to Wadia College, to Naurozji Wadia, and did science. I finished my 12th, then went overseas and did my A-levels once again. So I repeated my 11th and 12th. In 1990, I decided, in those days you couldn't work there. So I said, what do? Let's get back to India. Came back to India, and my father said, would you like to start at Thermax? And I said, why not? But I started there as a trainee engineer on the shop floor with everybody. And we were 100 of us, out of which 6 were women. And I started as a graduate engineer trainee, really going through the induction like anybody else.
Thermax was her grandfather's dream. Boilers built in a closed economy with courage as capital. From steam to water, from waste to power. Each pivot driven by foresight. Every shift a solution.
It was my grandfather who actually started the company. This is my mother's father. And he was working in Godrej, and then decided in the early 60s that he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He came across a company called Wonson, a Belgian company, and so he collaborated with them to start manufacturing boilers, so sterilizers to boilers for industry. These were small baby boilers. So we started with laundry and the smaller sectors and then grew it slowly by slowly. Thermax started with the sort of boiler at the center, and then boilers need water. So that's how we went into water treatment. Water treatment needs something called ion exchange resins. So we bought a company for resins. Boilers pollute. So at that time, the Pollution Act had just come into place. And we said, if we're going to pollute, we might as well clean up. So that's how we got into air pollution control. And then boilers also give out waste heat. So we said, if there's waste heat, what can we do with it? So we found a Japanese technology that converted waste heat into cooling. And then if you take all this and put a steam turbine together and add a few bits and pieces, you get a power plant. So that's how we went into power.
And then, a sudden loss. Her father's passing changed everything. Meher returned, not just as a daughter, but as a leader. The boardroom awaited. So did grief. She faced both with grace and a quiet grit.
Unfortunately, in 1996, Feb 96, my father suddenly passed away. And so that was a very difficult time because we wanted to come away. We wanted to be with my mother in India. Suddenly, from having left India as a trainee engineer, I had to come back and join the board of the company. So I think circumstances just took over after that. So it wasn't really a planned journey thereafter. And it was tough because I had made so many friends within the company who treated me like a colleague, and suddenly now I was this person on the board of the company.
Through the chaos, there was calm. Her husband, Feroz, became her equal partner and steady voice. Together, they shaped choices that shaped Thermax. Because strong families don't just build homes, they build legacies.
I have to say that my husband has been the most supportive. It's not easy for a person to see his wife take on the chairpersonship. But I think Feroz has been somebody who has been my thought partner in many things that we do. We do it with a lot of discussion, and I think that brings also a wholesome outcome to the table. And I always believe that unless a family is really strong together, a family business cannot be strong.
As chairperson, Meher stood firm. Growth was a target, yes, but not at the cost of conscience. Her mother saw it too. The long hours, the care for stakeholders, the unwavering commitment to a greener future. For Meher, sustainability wasn't a trend, it was a responsibility.
Even as an entrepreneur, she's not obsessed only with growth at any cost. She has values, and she definitely wants to take care of all the stakeholders, not just the shareholders. So these values with which she runs the organization, I admire her. When she became the chairperson and took over from me, I saw her change, putting hours of work, passionately loving the company, wanting to make it green, because we are an engineering coal company, but she has helped us to become greener.
Today, Thermax is a diversified powerhouse, leading in industrial heating, cooling, wastewater management, and advanced chemicals. And at its heart lies a green promise to do better, to be better.
Today, we are into industrial products, that is predominantly heating, cooling, water and wastewater, and air pollution control. The second is industrial infra, which is our larger boilers. The third is chemicals, which has taken its own route now and is growing. And the fourth is the green solutions business, which is predominantly our build, own, operate business.
Innovation at Thermax now goes hand in hand with impact, from providing cleaner fuel alternatives to helping industries transition to greener solutions. Meher is quietly steering Thermax towards an inclusive, sustainable future.
we really look at the environment as one of our key stakeholders? And that then became almost like a call within the company or a purpose within the company. Having said that, Thermax deals with every fuel. We are trying to help them to move into greener, as long as it makes economical sense also for the customer. So it's our job to come out with products that are more economically viable when you go to green.
But Meher's focus extends beyond strategy and numbers. She understands that today's professionals may not stay forever. Her mission? To ensure they find meaning while they're here and leave better than they came.
Today, we can't really think of anybody being in a business for 40 years. I mean, when we talk to next gen, they think maximum 5 years from now. So how do we make them think beyond that 5 years? How do we make them think about the purpose? What are they really trying to do in an organization that is trying to do the best for their customers and the environment? How do we make them buy into this purpose? But even if they're here for 5 years, how do we bring the best out of them, get the best out of them, and help them to give the best while they are here?
At the core of it all is her mother, a role model, a moral compass, and the person Meher hopes to emulate. If she can leave behind a legacy, it would be this: to have made a difference in business, yes, but more importantly, in the lives she touched along the way.
I think my mom's been my biggest role model, and just the person that she is. Somebody who's very authentic, somebody who calls a spade, but in a very, very nice manner. The way I'd like to be remembered is probably somebody who's been able to make a difference. It could be to the smallest individual in his or her life, or it could be in business, it could be in anything.
Meher Pudumjee emerged as the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2024 in the category of manufacturing.
Now, the next award honors entrepreneurs who have been the mainstay and the growth engine of the Indian economy. In fact, have always been responsible for our nation's incredible self-reliance. And the category is, yes, you guessed it right, manufacturing.
The winner of this category is an inspiring entrepreneur who spearheaded significant transformations in her family business, successfully steering it towards renewable energy and sustainability. The winner of the EOY manufacturing category is Meher Pudumjee from Thermax.
Congratulations, ma'am.
From green energy to the fintech space, where Sameer Nigam, founder and CEO of PhonePe, has led a digital payments revolution. By creating one of India's largest and most trusted UPI platforms, he's redefined the way millions transact every day. Here's a glimpse into the inspiring journey of PhonePe, a company bringing digital transactions to the masses.
Born in Mumbai, Sameer Nigam was destined to blend ambition with risk. A leap of faith turned into a relentless pursuit of innovation, reshaping India's music industry and setting the stage for a revolution in digital payments. But his first big decision? Walking away from a dream job at Microsoft.
I was born in Bombay. My father was in the Indian Navy. My mother was amongst the first 50 employees at TCS. I spent my teens in Bombay doing my engineering at Sardar Patel College. I went to the US, did my master's in engineering, but that's when I took my first risk. I had a campus offer from Microsoft, which was at its very peak. I gave that up and joined a startup. This was a consumer internet company called Shopzilla. They were the largest consumer shopping comparison shopping site on the planet, decided to incubate our first venture while I was at Wharton. Chose the music industry, of all things, to start out with, and we decided we want to build the iTunes for India in 2009.
From disrupting the music industry to building India's first B2B music platform, Mind 360, Sameer's journey took another turn when Flipkart came calling. The startup he built got acquired, but the real challenge was still ahead, the broken landscape of digital payments.
Venture was called Mind 360. It was a B2B platform for music artists and labels to connect with the digital consumer. But then spent 4 very, very exciting years at Flipkart. Joined in 2011 when there was about 500-600 people. Left 4 years later, it was about 35,000 people. The one problem statement that we found over and over was digital payments in India.
That problem became the spark for something bigger. PhonePe was born, not just as a payment app, but a mission to put financial services on every phone. Today, with 55 crore Indians on board, it is diving even deeper into India's heartland.
We were also really excited about the prospect of enabling 1 billion people to go digital with their payments, because the virtuous cycle it could actually start. We said we'll call the company PhonePe. It's a play upon words. The pay in Hindi means on, so it really translates to on the phone, and that's the level of ambition. We said anything that makes sense that we can digitally deliver to consumers is what we will sort of take up. We're about a decade into this journey. It's been a ride of a lifetime. It's been very personally rewarding to be able to reach 55-60 crore Indians in less than a decade. I'm very proud to report more than 16 crore of our users today are in tier 6 villages with less than 5,000 Indians. If you can tell me one other financial service provider that reaches that deep, I'll switch gears.
Then came the phase where success turned to chaos, milestone to meltdown in minutes. The big billion sale was supposed to be an e-commerce revolution. Instead, it revealed a gaping hole in India's digital infrastructure. The message was brutal. Fix payments or the internet economy collapses.
When the sale happened, 100 million users came, 10 million people attempted to pay with cards, 9 million transactions failed. Within the first 15 minutes of launch, we took down the payment gateways, we took down the switch. The load that was coming in was unprecedented. From what ended up being the biggest ever e-commerce sale to becoming the biggest unmitigated PR disaster in a span of 24 hours, it was very, very clear that unless payments gets fixed, the internet economy won't open up.
Then came a game changer, demonetization. As cash vanished, banks hesitated, but PhonePe stepped up. The platform became India's bridge to a digital future, and a revolution followed. QR codes mushroomed across the country, from billionaires to street vendors.
Demonetization got announced 2 months after we went live. And suddenly, there's no cash on the streets, and we are the one non-banking app which allows you to transfer money real time from your bank. And we went from 0 to 10 million users in the 3 months after that, 1 crore people. And the rest, as they say, is history. Today, we add on average 5.5 to 6 crore new users every year. We are almost at 60 crore or 600 million users now, less than 8 years in. Then we started building out one of the largest fleets of feet on street to put a QR code in every nook and corner of the country. Today, we have about 4.3 crore QR codes, of which over 1 crore is in rural India tier 6. We continue to do innovative things. We have these boxes called smart speakers with shopkeepers. When you make a payment, you hear Amitabh Bachchan's voice. Our user base includes the billionaires. Our user base includes the disenfranchised. Anyone with a phone and data can use PhonePe, and we are very proud of that.
From transactions to transformation, PhonePe didn't just stop at payments. A new revolution was brewing, one that would redefine financial inclusion, making credit history irrelevant. A nation where digital footprints became the key to trust.
There's a very deep R&D investment happening, but we are building risk underwriting models using new age data that we share with the banks and the NBFCs and the insurers to help them agree to lend or insure more Indians. Most Indians didn't have a bureau score until 10 years ago, and they still don't. But most Indians now have a UPI data score. So we're working on that.
But for Sameer, the journey isn't just about business. It's about impact. PhonePe's social missions extends beyond payments, from helping small businesses with loans and insurance to ensuring inclusivity within its own walls.
We have our own flavor of social impact, especially for the very small businesses. What we've done over the years for these sort of 40 million small businesses, for a lot of them, we are the first sort of providers of shop insurance. We are the first players who are able to get them to avail of formalized loans, starting as little as 50,000-60,000 rupees. The other thing that we do, particularly in our office, if you walk around our headquarters, every single wall, the artwork, for example, was done by local artisans. All our office facilities are friendly for people who are visually challenged. There's braille-like pegs all around the floors. We hire a lot of physically disabled people into manual work that they can do from home.
While others chase markets, Sameer envisions nations. Every Indian connected. That's his dream. A visionary, not just building platforms, but orchestrating revolutions. Business, product, technology, seamlessly woven, as attested by his co-founder.
Sameer has always been a big thinker, right? He is the visionary. At PhonePe, when we started, I'm always excited about building platforms of large scale, what I call as population scale platforms. But the ambition to build something that will be used by every Indian is something that Sameer brings to the table. So when he thinks of new ideas, he thinks of new opportunities that we must actually chase, he always takes the lens of the biggest and the boldest bet that we can make. Outside of that, I think the biggest strength that Sameer brings to the table is his ability to weave business, product, and technology seamlessly.
For Sameer, technology isn't just a tool, it's a force for social change. His mission? To harness its power for good and leave behind a legacy of progress.
I like to believe that technology advancement is pivotal to any kind of social reform. But like any other technology, it can be used for good or bad. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used technology for good.
Sameer Nigam emerged as the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2024 in the Business Transformation category.
The next category of award pays tribute to the turnaround men and women, the people who transform not just a business, but often an entire sector in its entirety, because the category is Business Transformation. With more than $1 trillion of payment volume going through their enterprise, his entrepreneurial venture has revolutionized digitization in India at an unprecedented scale. I think everybody has already guessed it by now. Please join me in welcoming Sameer Nigam on stage.
Well, that was the story of Sameer Nigam, who's playing a key role in shaping the future of digital finance in India. And with that, it is a wrap on this webisode of Shapers of India's Future. Stay tuned to this space as we continue to spotlight India's most inspiring entrepreneurs. Until next time, goodbye and thanks for watching.
Presenting the 26th EY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Shapers of India's Future.